Hello and welcome back to the Hyder Center for the second semifinal of the Girls Metro Holiday Tournament 2020. And this should be a good one, much closer than the one we just saw. Second-seeded Omaha Central and third-seeded Gretna. If you're just joining us, it's going to be a great game, no doubt about it. The first one, maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. Millard South blew out Omaha West Side. That was the 1 versus 13 semifinal. Millard South with a 56-28 win. They're moving on to the championship, awaiting the winner of this one. Tyler Rudy and Brendan Prizeman with you on this great New Year's Eve morning here at the Hyder Center, and it should be one heck of a matchup, no doubt about it.
It certainly should be, especially because these two teams have already played each other, and boy, was it a tight game. A 48-41 win for Central. They took a 17-6 lead at the end of the first quarter, then nearly gave it all the way back. They were only up 3 at the end of the third quarter, but then they were able to pull away in the fourth quarter for a 48-41 win. A lot of great players on both sides of this game for Gretna. You're going to want to look at Emma Schweigert. She had 13 points in that game against Central. She's got 8.7 per game on the season. Grace Huntworth also had 13 versus Central. She's averaging double-digit points. Only Dragon to be doing that so far. And then for Central, they've got a whole bunch of players who can get it done from almost anywhere on the court. A really solid teams on both sides.
Yeah, and as you said, these two teams are already familiar with each other this year. They're very familiar with each other going back to last year. They played 3 times during the 2019-2020 season, once in the consolation game for the holiday tournament. Gretna got the win there, and then aside from that, Central lost another game in the regular season and won another game in double overtime. So these two teams have gotten to know each other quite well over the last 2 seasons. Should make for a great one today. You mentioned some of the top players for Central. Anaya Webb, 22 points, 2 3-pointers yesterday against Benson, despite fouling out. She had a fantastic game.
She also had 12 against Omaha Central, against Gretna, sorry. Although the key in this game for Central might just be their freshman guard, Inia Jones. She's averaging 11.2 points this year with 4 assists and 2 steals. She had 13 points against Gretna to go along with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. So she is going to have to perform tonight if Central wants to advance to the finale, where they will face off against Millard South.
Yeah, and Central undefeated to this point in the season. They're 8-0 overall, 5-0 at home, 2-0 away, 1-0 at neutral sites like the one they're at right now. And points per game, 63.6. They're averaging 63.6 points per game. That's a fantastic number. And then only allowing 47.6. They've been fantastic this season, no doubt about it. Not a ton of close games. Their closest game really was 63-58 over Omaha Northwest in the first round of this tournament, and then 58-50 over Benson in the quarterfinals. On the other side for Gretna, they're 5-2 overall, 2-1 at home, 3-1 away. Their points per game is a little bit closer, 48.1 point score, but their defense has been much better at 36.6, and they'll need it to stop this high-flying Central attack.
Yeah, they certainly will. Aside from Jones, who's averaging 11.2, Central's also got Anaya Webb, who's averaging 15.2 points. Anaya Wayne, averaging 7. This is Nainwar Paul, who's averaging 9 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 blocks. She had 6.7 rebounds and 3 assists in that Gretna game earlier this year. So Central's got a lot of really talented players, and Gretna's going to have to match that if they want to win today.
And look at what Gretna did yesterday, facing off with Millard North in the quarterfinals. It was a 42-36 victory for them to get them here to the semifinals. 13 points yesterday for Grace Huntworth, the typical leading scorer, 12 for Jenna Marshall, and then 6 each for Sydney Reimer and Avery Coleman. Emma Schweiger can score as well as the junior center. And if you take a look at the starters today for Gretna, Sydney Zaboodle, number 10, the point guard, she's a junior. You got number 15, Allison Marshall, the freshman point guard. Number 20, Grace Huntworth, leading scorer, junior point guard. Number 24, Sydney Reimer, a junior small forward. She had 6 points yesterday. And then Emma Schweigart, the junior center, number 34. Who you keeping an eye on? Who needs to really step up for Gretna to keep up with Central?
I personally think Sydney Reimer might be the X factor, because you mentioned that Gretna's got 3 point guards in their starting lineup. So that means that whoever is playing the big positions is going to have to do a lot of work tonight. And in this case, it's Sydney Reimer. She's averaging almost 6 points a game this year throughout the season, but she's going to have to go up against players like Paul, Anaya Wayne, Anaya Webb, And there's a lot of really talented, really tall girls on Central's roster. And Reimer's going to have to be up to the task to guard them if Gretna wants to win.
And looking on the other side, the starters for Omaha Central, at number 2, Claire Williams, a junior guard. Number 13, Ania Jones, a freshman guard, very impressive in her first season. Number 23, Anaya Webb, 5'10", junior forward. Number 24, Anaya Wayne, a junior guard. And then number 25, Nayanar Powell. They've been all impressive so far this season. They've got a couple big-time scores. Who are you looking out for on the Central side today?
Well, for Central, I already mentioned Ania Jones, and I'm going to mention her again here. 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. She has really been the X factor for this team. They've got a lot of big scorers. She's one of the few players on this team who's a small scorer. They're going to need a lot out of her tonight. And assuming they win, they're also going to need a lot out of her Saturday night when they take on Millard South, if they take on Millard South for the final.
Omaha Central and Gretna in the number 2 versus number 3 semifinal, getting set to tip off. Winner takes on Millard South in the championship game on Saturday night. Second semifinal for the girls about to get underway. It'll be Nayanar Paul and Emma Schweigart to tip it off. Central and Gretna underway to fill in the second spot for the championship game. Central begins with the basketball here. And a quick drive and a quick basket right away for Central. That's number 2, Claire Williams. And it's 2-0 in favor of the Eagles.
And we saw what a full court press could do for Millard South in the first game. Looks like we might see what it can do for Central in this one.
Yeah, but it is thrown away after Central forced the turnover as the pass went behind from Nia Jones. And 23 seconds in, Gretna will take over.
And this Central team, a really high-scoring team. They like to attack. They like to push the pace. They're going to have to do that here. They force almost 16 turnovers a game, and much of that could probably be attributed to that great full-court press of theirs. They're going to have to force a lot of turnovers against this really talented Gretna team to get the win.
Yeah, and they like to go straight to the basket. They don't waste a lot of time, but going straight to the basket, wide open there, is Grace Huntworth, the leading scorer for Gretna, and the game is tied at 2. 50 seconds into this one. See what Central can do. 3-point shot from the far side, and it is good from Anaya Wayne. 5-2 lead for Central, and a high-flying offensive start as expected between these two. So here comes Gretna back the other way, trailing by 3, just over a minute into this one. Schweigart had it stolen. It is going to trickle out of bounds and stay with Gretna. 6:50 to go in the opening quarter.
And Central doing a good job at forcing Gretna into mistakes early. As a basketball team, you never want to be making a lot of bad passes, but Gretna's made a few so far tonight, and they're going to have to avoid making those kinds of passes if they want to keep up with Central's high-flying offense.
Here's Huntworth, guarded by Claire Williams, gives off to Emma Schweigart. She holds, now over to Allison Marshall. Back to Sydney Zabudil, and she got blocked. No whistle. It does go out of bounds. Nice play there defensively by Ania Jones. And a lot of action at the start, and the basketball is going to go to Central after that block.
And Jones, I mentioned in the pregame, averaging over 2 steals a game, showing that she can do it in the post on defense as well. A nice block there. And Central's defense has really been key for them this year. They're only giving up about 48 points a game, and that's been huge for them because they like to play a fast-paced game. Only giving up 48 points is a sign that their defense, especially that press, works very well.
Gretna's been able to get around it, though. Here they come the other way. Sydney Zabudil with it now. Grace Huntworth along the baseline, back to Zabudil. Now down to the baseline once again. 3-point try from Huntworth. It's good. Grace Huntworth with a quick 5 points for Gretna. And we're even at 5, just over 2 minutes in.
And Huntworth, as we mentioned, the only player in double figures on the Dragons roster, averaging 10.6 a game. She's played really well all season. She put up 13 in these teams' first matchup earlier this year. She's going to have to probably put up a lot more than 13 this afternoon, but she looks well up to the task.
Allison Marshall kicks to Emma Schweigart. Now over to Zabudil. Back to Emma Schweigart. Reimer. Sydney Reimer at the top. 5:10 to go in the first quarter. Now inside, nice feed there, and the foul is called as Sydney Zabudil gets into the paint, draws the foul. She'll go to the line to shoot 2. Foul was against number 2, Claire Williams, and Gretna's got a chance to take their first lead of the morning. First free throw up and good. Makes it a 6-5 Gretna lead.
And Zabudil has been really key for Gretna as kind of the facilitator of their offense, only averaging 2 points a game, but is the main point guard, done a great job at making sure that her teammates are happy and scoring a lot. She gets the free throws there, but she's going to be key in orchestrating that Gretna offense in trying to keep up with Central.
Under 5 minutes to play, opening quarter. A couple substitutes getting set to check in for Gretna. Here comes Nayanar Powell looking for the shot. She gets it to go. Nice work there. 2 points for her, and we're tied at 7. 4:40 to go in the opening quarter. And you see both these teams very evenly matched as Huntwork fires up another 3. 8 opening quarter points, and she's on fire to start it. 4:30 to go in the first quarter.
And the
10-7.
press being broken really easily by Gretna right now. Central might want to rethink whether they want to keep that on all game because it's not working right now.
And it might be a turnover there. Claire Williams was forced out of bounds. Foul is called against Gretna. It is on number 10, Sydney Zabudil. So 4:19 to go in the first quarter. A few substitutes check in for Gretna.
A great play there by Claire Williams, able to read the pass going to the corner, gets the steal, and then has to get fouled by Gretna to avoid a layup. So a really good play there by Central. Their defense might be what has to carry them through this game.
Foul is called there on the floor against Gretna. The 3 substitutes that is checked in for the Dragons: Jenna Marshall, number 11, number 30, Avery Coleman, and number 42, Simone Parent.
And the foul was on Marshall. That's 2 quick fouls for Gretna. They got to be careful.
Inside quickly, and one is produced there by Nayanar Powell. Up to 4 points now, 4:11 to go in the first quarter. Chance to tie the game at 10, and you can see just how evenly matched and fast-paced these two teams are. 2 of the best in Class A for the girls, putting on a show early on. As the free throw from Paul is no good, but the rebound is tipped. Claire Williams with a jump shot, no good. And Gretna able to pull it down and come the other way.
And both teams fighting hard, not giving an inch, going for steals, diving for loose balls. Both teams really want this game. That's, I think, might be 2 on Claire Williams. She's going to have to be careful, and she's coming out now for Naya Powell. So both teams have done a really good job so far at running with what works. For Gretna, it's been 3-pointers and fast breaks. For Central, it's been post offense. But the question is, which one is going to give first?
This is out of bounds. It'll stay with Gretna. 3:54 to go in the first quarter. 10-9 lead for the Dragons over the Omaha Central Eagles. Inbound is tipped and taken away. Excellent work there from Anaya Webb, the leading scorer, but she did step out of bounds looking to get it inside, and Gretna will take over.
And you got to be careful not to let your eyes get too big when you're trying to drive to the hoop like that. It looked like what happened was Webb thought she was driving to the hoop when she was actually well outside the lane, and by the time she realized where she was on the floor, it was too late to do anything other than step out of bounds.
Inbound goes to number 11, Jenna Marshall. 3:45 to go, opening quarter. Dragons looking to build on their 1-point lead. Now Simone Parent drives in around the edge. Shot doesn't go. Rebound for Gretna, and a nice block there. Foul is called though, but it is against the Dragons. Central with a couple nice defensive blocks, and then they force the foul on the back end as well. It's called against number 30, Avery Coleman. So 3.5 to go in the first quarter.
4 team fouls on Gretna already.
Yeah.
They're going to have to be a little bit more careful there. But a great interior presence by Nayanar Paul. I think that's her 2nd block of the game already, and she has proven to be a force on the interior on both sides of the ball.
3:20 to go in the first quarter. Kick out to Anaya Webb. She'll back out. Find Nia Paul. Drives in. Basket good. Central takes the lead 11-10. 3:05 to go in the first quarter. Back and forth we go between Gretna and Central. Falling there without a foul called there was Jenna Marshall. Ball does go out of bounds. Gretna keeps possession.
And Marshall, so far, averaging almost 4 points a game this year, has done a really good job at breaking the press. She's one of the fastest players on this Gretna roster, and she has done a great job at speeding through the defense and getting Gretna's offense set up.
For Central, Alana Davis has checked in, and for Gretna, number 21, Aiden Pullman is in. Here's a three-point shot just off the mark there from Jenna Marshall, and the rebound eventually comes to Central, but a travel is called against Nyanar Powell.
And that's the danger of really trying to go fast break offense. Normally you don't want big men to handle the ball on a fast break because they're not really taught to dribble. And in that case, the big just got a little too excited, thinking they were going to lead a fast break, and it results in a turnover.
Gretna takes over, trailing by 1. Inside they go. Now back out again. Nice move there. Jenna Marshall. Shot does not go off the glass. Battle for the rebound. It's a travel. It looked like two Gretna players might have been fighting over the same rebound there. And a travel is called. Central takes possession with 2:32 to go.
And this is exactly the kind of game that both teams had in their first meeting against each other. A defensive battle. Neither team really shooting that well. Neither team really able to make much of an effort in the offensive paint. But both teams playing very good basketball.
Scoring got off to a hot start. It slowed down a bit as Nyanar Powell misses the jump shot. And stepping out of bounds there. Good eye from the ref as stepping out was Jenna Marshall there on the baseline with 2:13 to go, and Central will keep it in the offensive end.
And again, that's the danger of fast break offense. You get a little too excited, and the next thing you know, you're stepping out of bounds or dropping the ball. So both teams probably a little overeager at the start of this game. Hopefully for both, they start cooling things down a little bit as this game rolls on.
Pass was intercepted. Back the other way with the and one. What a play by Ania Jones. She got the turnover, took it away on the fast break, and drew the foul with the basket. Chance for a three-point play to make it a two-possession game.
And Jones has really been the spark plug for this Central offense. The only freshman to be scoring over about 4 points a game right now for them. And she has been really crucial to get that fast break offense running. And she shows you why there, getting the and one layup off of a steal. Great play from her.
So 3 points from Ania Jones and a 4-point Central lead. Their largest of the game to this point. Under 2 to play in the first quarter. 4 substitutes getting ready to check in for Gretna. What a play to steal it from behind. Alana Davis quickly back the other way, runs into a Gretna defender, and the Dragons take it back. So you see Alana Davis, she's not the tallest person in the world, but she's got those quick feet to get the steal, but Gretna's got the basket going the other way to make it a 2-point game.
That's Jenna Marshall, I think. She's done a really good job at running that break for Gretna. Finally pays off with a bucket.
And there's a 3 for Anaya Webb to make it a 5-point Central lead as they continue to go back and forth. Here's another steal. Anaya Webb's got a chance for 2 more. She's not missing that. 5-point lead for Central. Timeout Gretna as it's 19-12.
And that shows you just how quickly the press can really change a game. We went from Gretna taking the lead, or cutting it to 1, I believe, off of the nice layup by Jenna Marshall. And then just as quickly, the game turned. Omaha Central started asserting their will. And some great plays by Anaya Webb. Hits the 3, gets the steal, and then gets the layup. 5 straight points for her, and it's now a 7-point lead for Central. Great defense so far from them.
So 19-12 in favor of the Eagles. 1:15 to go in the first quarter, and Gretna has fallen off a bit momentum-wise. Their offense was pretty good at the start, but what do you think they need to pick up and start ramping up on offensively to keep up with this fast-paced Central attack from what you've seen so far?
Well, what I'd say to do is keep working through Huntwork and Marshall, because Huntwork and Marshall have for sure been the 2 best players on the floor offensively for Gretna. So they need to keep pushing the pace because, as I mentioned, Central has a really big-oriented offense, and that can lead to trouble if the other team starts pushing the pace. So if I'm Gretna, I push the pace, I play through the guards, and I start shooting the open 3s.
Let's see what they can do. Just over a minute remaining in quarter number 1. 19-12 lead for Central. Allison Marshall working up top, trying to find some room. Good defense, though, able to get it to Emma Schweigert. Inside Back out. Nice extra pass. 3-point try, no good from Huntwork, but a nice rebound there. And the pass nearly thrown away, but saved by Allison Marshall.
And Gretna got a hard-fought offensive rebound there. They have to convert.
Huntwork, another three. She's got it, and she's fouled. Chance for a 4-point play from Grace Huntwork. What a play. She's at 11 points already.
That's her third three of the quarter. An incredible performance by Huntwork. And that shows you how the mental game works for players, because some players might think, oh boy, I missed the first three I took of this possession. I hope I don't miss this one, and then overthink it, end up missing it. Huntwork just lined it up and shot and ended up getting the 3 points out of it.
Free throw is no good, but you said start working through Huntwork, and what do? They give her 2 open threes, and she connects on one of them, make it a 4-point game. 30 seconds to go. Quickly the other way comes Central with Ania Jones putting it in. Her 5th point of the game to make it a 6-point Eagles lead. 20 seconds remaining. High scoring first quarter here in this one. See what Gretna can do late. Probably trying to hold for the final shot. Allison Marshall had it taken away, able to retrieve it.
And you got to get up a shot here. Only 4 seconds.
Yeah, 3 seconds.
Get something open.
They got to hurry here. Gonna take it from deep is Schweigert, no good. And that is gonna do it for the first quarter of play. And boy, was it a fun one. Omaha Central 21, Gretna 15. Take a look at the leading scorers. Grace Huntwork led the way for Gretna with 11 points. She was fantastic. Had that foul on the 3-point shot late in the first quarter. And then on the Central side, Anaya Webb with 5, Ania Jones with 5, Nyanar Paul with 4 as well. What have you seen so far in the first quarter? It's been impressive, no doubt about it.
Well, both teams are really doing a good job at working through their stars. We kind of saw that with Westside, although they went away from it in the first game, where they started working through Sean Law. And now for both these teams, they're going through the players that they know are going to deliver on this big stage. Huntwork with 11 points, already passed her season average for points per game in just 1 quarter.
How about that?
And then for Central, Ania Jones has done a great job at leading the fast break for them. Nyanar Paul done a great job inside. And then Anaya Webb and Anaya Wayne, 8 points combined for the two of them. They're the perfect wings for this Central offense, because they could work in the inside and in the outside and score whenever Central needs them to.
One of the teams you'll see in the next game after this, Miller North, top-ranked boys team in the state, is sitting in the bleachers watching this one here.
Central's also here.
Yeah, Central's here as well.
Can't wait for that
Yeah,
one.
that's
Hunter Salas.
Yeah, Miller North Central
Don't go
coming
anywhere.
up. Yeah, Miller North Central coming up right after this on the boys' side. Here we got a good one, though, as we begin the second quarter. Gretna looking to get back in this game a bit as they get the jump shot from Jenna Marshall. She's got 4 points, and it's a 4-point game. Now Central back the other way, under 7:40 to go until halftime, as Nyanar Powell, who's hit some nice jump shots so far, drops it off at the top. Dominique Mack gives it off to Anaya Webb. Nice move. Shot doesn't go. Battle for the rebound, and the putback is good from Dominique Mack.
And a great tip there by Nyanar Paul. If she doesn't tip that rebound, then Mack never gets the rebound in the bucket. Great play by Paul on the offensive boards.
But here comes Gretna. Pull-up jump shot. Oh, rims out at the last second. Central pulls in the rebound, and a foul is called against the Dragons with 7:05 to go until halftime.
That's on Schweigert. And she is one of those players that is going to have to step up for Gretna if they want to start erasing this 6-point deficit. She's probably their best forward/center. So she's going to need to play some great defense against Nyanar Paul, and then go back on the other end and play great offense against her. And that's a very tough task for anyone.
Avery Coleman has checked in for Sydney Reimer on the Gretna side. Central working with a 6-point lead on the offensive end. Oh, nice pass there. Shot is good from downtown, as it is Claire Williams.
And a great 1-2 game between Anaya Wayne and Claire Williams. Williams got the ball to Wayne and then cut to the open corner where there was a wide open three waiting for her, and Wayne made a great pass, resulting in 3 more points for that potent Central offense.
Jenna Marshall loses control of the ball. It trickles out of bounds, and Central's got a chance to make it a double-digit lead. They're up by 9, really have pulled away, using this momentum swing they've gotten to build a nice lead here over Gretna. As checking out of the game for the Eagles, Dominique Mack. And back in the game, and Ania Jones running into some contact, but out of bounds. Central will keep it. 6:28 to go until halftime. Gretna with those 6 fouls. You mentioned it earlier. They're 1 away from being in the penalty. That's the last thing they want with Central already up by 9. Nice inside pass, and Nia Webb gets the roll. And it's an 11-point lead for Central.
The off-ball cutting has just been incredible for Central right now. They're just doing whatever they please off the ball. And it's much the same thing as we saw with Westside in the first game. If you're the defender and you're only watching the ball, you're doing it wrong. You got to make sure that the person you're supposed to be guarding isn't cutting for a layup.
Gretna able to retrieve that one after a near turnover, and they'll settle things down. Sydney Zabudil with 5:56 to go. Gets it up top. Allison Marshall. Back to Emma Schweigert. To the far side. Grace Huntwork. Knocked away. Right back to her. Fortunate bounce there. Now Allison Marshall. Back to Sydney Zabudil.
Central has tipped multiple passes on this possession alone, but still haven't gotten a turnover yet.
Yeah, they're turning it into a long possession for Gretna.
Some great plays by Gretna just to keep this possession alive.
And it might be over right here. It's on the ground. There's a foul called, and it is against Omaha Central.
Looks like that's on Nia Webb. That's her first.
Yeah, it is Nia Webb, so 5:28 to go in the first half. 4th team foul for Omaha Central. Still working with that 11-point lead, but it's been a long possession here for Gretna.
And this might be just what Central wanted because they've got the big lead. They can afford for Gretna to take their time with possessions that end in scores.
Inside, Emma Schweigert was blocked, and wide open on a breakaway on the other end is Anaya Wayne. She's got 5 points. And it's 30-17. Central putting on a show here.
Great all-around possession for them. I was a little worried about this team coming in. I wasn't sure if they'd be able to run with Millard South if they made it to the final, but it certainly looks like they'd be able to after this performance right now.
Here's Emma Schweigert. 5 minutes to go until halftime. Gretna has really pulled back from the three-point ball. Both teams have. There are a lot of threes early on, but there's a three-point shot, no good. Rebound goes off a couple feet on the ground. Jump ball, possession goes to Central. 4:51 remaining in the first half, and the Eagles with a chance to really make this a one-sided affair here before halftime. Gretna's got to put something together.
And there's a lot of good second effort on the rebounds from both teams right now. The only difference is you've got Central with a lot more tall players than Gretna does, and you're always going to win that battle.
Yeah, you're seeing all the blocks that Central's coming up with as there's a foul called, and that puts
There'll
Central,
be free throws.
Yeah, Central in the bonus, so it'll be a 1-and-1. As it looks like Anaya Webb is going to go to the line. 4:35 to go in the first half.
She's got 7 already. A great game from her. Most of her points have come in the paint, and now she gets a chance to add some more at the free throw line.
Yep. See what she can do with the 1-and-1. Foul was on Zabudo. First free throw up and good. Make it 8 points for Webb. And a 14-point lead for Central as checking in for Gretna. Kate Cogswell, number 13, in for the first time as Zabudo checks out after the foul. Second free throw coming up for Webb. This to make it a 15-point lead. It is up and good. So 9 points for Webb, and Central continues to impress, really pulling away in the second quarter.
And now the press is back on. And this worked fairly well for them in the first quarter. If they're able to get some turnovers and scores off of this in the second quarter, that could be the game.
Emma Schweigert out of bounds. Last touch by Central. Looked like there's a deflection there on the near side. 4:20 to go in the first half.
And the wings of Central have done a really, really good job at making sure that the passes to the wings of Gretna are at the very least contested, if not outright tipped. They're using their length to really make life uncomfortable for the Gretna passers.
And here comes Central the other way. A steal right off the inbound, and Nia Webb's got an easy layup the other way as she continues to dominate here in the second quarter.
That's 11 for her this half. She's just putting on a show, turning defense to offense in an instant, and it's another 2 points for that Central offense, already at 34. Gretna only gives up about 37 a game, and it certainly looks like they're going to give up more than that tonight.
There's another steal. Man, Central is on fire defensively, just shutting down the Gretna Dragons after what was a back and forth early part of the first quarter. It has been all Central ever since. That shot doesn't go. Offensive rebound, but a foul is called there.
Looks like it's going to be on Paul
Yep.
for going over the back. Got the rebound, put it back up and in, but didn't do so legally. And here's a situation where Gretna really has to make a move and has to get something going, just a score, because Central has seized all the momentum from them, and they've got to make 100% sure that they get some of it back.
They bring Parent back into the game. She can't get the layup to go, and it's out of bounds. Last touch by Central, so it'll stay with Gretna, and Omaha Central will bring a couple more substitutes in. Number 44, Ital Lupo, will see her first action of the game, and number 20, Nia Paul, will check back in as well. Here's Parent for Gretna. Open look from downtown. Why not take that? But it's too strong for Aiden Pullman, and here comes Central the other way with Nia Paul. 3:20 to go in the first half. Nice pass to the inside. Beautiful catch and basket by Ital Lupo, her first 2 points. And it's 36-17, Omaha Central.
And Gretna's offense seems to be playing a little bit more timidly than they were at the start of the game. There's not a lot of threes being taken. As you mentioned, they had an open three on that possession, and they didn't do anything with it until the dribble and the shot, but by then the contest was there. So Gretna has to start taking those open shots because they're not getting many of them against this great Central defense that has just put on a show so far.
Foul was called on the floor against Central. 3:05 to go first half. Gretna trying to get something going here before halftime. Make this a close game again. There's a big block there, but a foul is called against Central. 2:58 to go, and looks like it's against Ital Lupo.
And the danger of being a big man and seeing the driver come in with a layup is that you don't want to get too over-eager with your blocking motion and bring your arm down, because every time you do so, that's a foul. Even if you get ball, you're not allowed to bring the arm down with too much force.
Both teams now in the bonus as Aiden Pullman makes the first free throw. Now the back end of the 1-and-1. Up and good. So make it a 36-19 game.
And Gretna only 4 points in the quarter so far. 2 of those you just saw. Anaya Webb by herself has 6 in this quarter. So Gretna is certainly going to have to put on a new burst of energy if they want to dig themselves out of this hole.
Jenna Marshall is checked back in for Gretna, and a travel is called against Omaha Central there, so maybe an opportunity for Gretna to get things going here with the 2 free throws on one end, and then they get the turnover on the other end. 2:40 to go in the first half.
They've got Huntwork in right now. 11 in the first quarter, none so far in the second.
Oh, nice work there defensively, and a jump ball will give the basketball to Gretna as
that was
Anaya Wayne basically just put the ball in a bear hug and forced a jump ball.
So you got to start working through Huntwork again, because Huntwork did very well in the first quarter. Nothing so far this quarter, but she's got to start to get going if this offense wants to get back out of the rut they're in.
2:30 to play first half. Gretna down by 17. Here's Grace Huntwork. Gets it over to Jenna Marshall, now inside, and another block is made. That was Lupo, now to the corner, and a travel is called as missing the 3 anyway was Huntwork, and it'll be Central basketball with 2:19 to go.
And you can't really afford to make those kinds of mistakes when you're down this much, especially after getting offensive rebounds. For Gretna now, any offensive rebound, especially considering the height advantage that Central has right now, any offensive rebound has to be converted, because that's how they're going to make their way back into this game. If they can't convert those offensive rebounds, they're probably not going to win.
Lobbing it up. Nice catch there. Kick it back out. Beautiful ball movement from Central. They get the foul. No, it's a travel, actually. They called a travel there as trying to get the shot to go was number 20, Nia Paul, and with 2:05 to go in the first half, Gretna takes over.
And the press kind of coming off now from Central. Gretna might be able to take advantage of that, but the issue is the fast-paced offense doesn't work very well if the defense is already set up, and maybe that's what Central has in mind.
Here is Sydney Reimer, number 24, with it. 1:40 to go in the first half. Reimer gets it inside. Allison Marshall back to Reimer. Nice shot fake. Goes right around and gets blocked. Denied by Ania Jones, but Gretna's got it back with 1:30 to go.
And Jones has just been a force on defense so far. Getting blocks, getting steals, getting rebounds, doing it all for Gretna. And that versatility from the guards is a big reason why they can afford to have stretches where they don't have two bigs in, or even a stretch where they don't have a big in at all, is because their guards can play inside just as well as some of their bigs.
Grace Huntwork, 3-point shot here, no good from Kate Cogswell, number 13, and Central takes it back the other way. A minute to play in the first half. Driving right in, and Nia Jones. Shot no good. She gets it back on the rebound and puts it back in. 7 points for Jones. 19-point lead for Central.
And she's just been doing it all. I'm pretty sure by now she might have at least one tick mark in every category on the stat sheet. But she's just using her speed, her agility, and her basketball IQ to make those plays. And that's working out very well for Central.
Nice work by Allison Marshall for Gretna to get around the defense, draw the foul on the floor, so that'll force a 1-and-1. As substitutes will check in on both sides. For Central, number 25, Nynar Powell will check in, as well as number 22, Dominique Mack. And then for Gretna, number 10, Sydney Zabudil is coming back in, 42 seconds left, as Marshall will shoot the 1-and-1.
And the key for Gretna here is to go into the half with at least some sort of momentum. It can be a stop, it can be a three-pointer, it can be a nice layup, whatever it is, you have to get some momentum going into the second half. If you don't, it's all over.
First free throw, no good. They got the offensive rebound. They got it again off the missed layup. And finally they draw the foul and the basket goes. So great work on the offensive glass by the Dragons. They got a chance for a three-point play before the half.
And those are the offensive opportunities you have to convert. That was Reimer, the forward, who got the rebound and the score. And maybe foul trouble for Central might start to creep in. Most of their players have kept it pretty clean so far. Only 2 players with 2 fouls, but it's still got to be a worry in the back of the coaches' minds as you go deeper into the second half.
Another missed free throw, but another offensive rebound. They keep getting their offensive rebounds. What a possession by Gretna, but finally Central takes it away. And with 20 seconds left, they'll have a chance for the final shot. Unless Ania Jones wants to go straight to the basket now. Oh, somehow she gets that to go. She was almost on the ground, and Nia Jones.
Ania Jones is just flat out playing tonight. The freshman playing like a senior. A great performance from her.
And here's a steal, and on the ground, that'll take us to halftime with Central leading Gretna 40-21. A very, very impressive performance all around from the Eagles, and Gretna's got to get things rolling in a hurry to start the second half. Or else
Ania Jones and Nia Webb just been incredible for the Eagles. Jones has 9, Webb has 11, and they've both been incredible on defense, using the length, using the strength, using the IQ to just make play after play, and Gretna is struggling right now.
Entertaining game, and it'll only get better in the second half. Stay with us right here on CP Sports Network. Hello and welcome back to the Hyder Center. We are just about ready to begin the second half of this second Metro Holiday Tournament girls semifinal between the second seed Omaha Central and the third seed Gretna. Tyler Reedy and Brendan Preisman bringing it to you on the Creighton Prep Sports Network, and it was quite the first half for the Eagles of Omaha Central, jumping out to a 40-21 lead.
Yeah, they certainly showed their prowess at turning defense into offense really quickly, especially in the second quarter. A 19-6 scoring margin for them over the Dragons of Gretna, who are the 3 seed in this tournament. Much of that fueled by Enia Jones and Anaya Webb, 2 of their guards who are just incredible at getting steals so far this game, and they've just done their all to make sure that Central has just had fast break after fast break. The pace has been speedy, which you would have come to expect from a team that's averaging over 60 points a game, and Gretna just hasn't quite been able to keep up.
And on the other side, Grace Huntwork for Gretna was fantastic in the first quarter. She had 11 points in the half, but as she slowed down, Gretna as a whole slowed down, so probably have to play through her if they want to get back in the game.
Huntwork did not score a point in the second quarter, and that's probably a big reason why the score margin was 19-6 in favor of Central. Gretna's got to do something to get her and maybe Allison Marshall involved back in the offense if they want to get back into this game.
Ania Jones kicks it up top for 3, no good from Claire Williams, and now a jump ball.
So that'll
possession,
go to Gretna.
Possession goes to Gretna, yep. 7:38 to go in the third quarter as we continue to see Ania Jones, definitely the best all-around player we've seen in this game. 9 points. She's been getting rebounds, steals,
blocks,
great drives to the basket, setting up other people.
Probably a couple assists that we've missed.
Yeah.
Just doing everything.
Yeah, she's been fantastic, as there's a near steal. Gretna's able to keep it. As now it's set back. Here is...
And Gretna doesn't have to push the pace too much. There's still plenty of time. Pace is not quite as important for them as scoring is. They have to score.
There's another block. Zabuto couldn't get it to go, and now Central back the other way. What a play there. And Nia Jones again. 11 points, and it's a 42-21 Central lead.
And Nainwar Paul has done a great job at preventing Gretna from getting anything easy inside. I think that might be your 3rd block of the game. She's just been incredible so far. I mean, she's averaging 3 blocks a game. She's already hit that, but she's just doing a really good job at forcing the post shots for Gretna to be either drastically changed or get blocked right back in their faces.
Sydney Reimer to Allison Marshall. She'll work her way in, gets fouled, and she will go to the line to shoot 2 as the shot's no good. 6:40 to go in the third quarter. Looks like they got the foul on number 13, Ania Jones.
That's her 2nd. So Central now 3 different players with 2 fouls. I mentioned that in the first half, that could spell trouble for Central if they've got a lot of foul trouble late in the second half. However, it does not look like that is the case right now.
First free throw up and good from Allison Marshall. That's her first point of the afternoon. Here comes the second, and no good, so she goes 1 for 2. 20-point lead for Omaha Central.
And it looks like Gretna now starting to think about the press a little bit. Maybe the only thing left they have at their disposal after the fast-paced Central offense
and there goes
continues to hum.
And Nia Jones again, 13 points to match the number on her back. 6:20 to go in the third quarter. 22-point lead for Omaha Central.
Gretna just can't seem to stop Ania Jones right now. She's just doing whatever she wants with the ball, driving and scoring. Heck, she could probably make a 3 right now if she wanted. She's just on a tear.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the other side, Sydney Reimer gets the basket. She's up to 4 points, and it's 44-24, and now wide open. 2-on-1 for Central. Shot doesn't go. Rebound is pulled in, and taking it right away.
What a block by Schweigert.
What strength by Emma Schweigert, and now Gretna coming the other way. Here is Grace Huntwork, 11 points in the first quarter, none in the second.
That block is a potential momentum-swinging play if you respond to it right for Gretna. You got to get a shot here, preferably either an and-one layup or a wide-open 3. But you got to get something on this possession, and it can't take too much longer because the momentum's rapidly dissipating.
Allison Marshall is fouled. They're drawing fouls, that's for sure.
And that's 3 on Jones. She's got to be careful.
Yeah, and Central cannot afford to lose her the way she's playing today. So Allison Marshall is going to go right back to the line for 2 more free throws. 5:30 to go in the third quarter as Nia Jones heading towards the sideline. Doesn't look like she's going to check out.
Doesn't look very happy with the call, though, either.
No. First free throw was good from Marshall. And indeed, Jones is going to check out as Nia Paul comes into the game for Omaha Central. Second free throw from Marshall is good. 44-26. Gretna trying to claw their way back into this thing.
Gretna 5.
Now a whistle and a timeout is called for.
Gretna with 5 points already, only one off what they scored the entire second quarter. And it looks like maybe the pressure they're putting on Central coming out of the half is starting to work. Central forced to use a timeout. After that press, nearly forced a turnover. So the key for Gretna is to keep pressing their advantage because they do have an advantage right now. Ania Jones, who's been the spark plug for the Central offense, leading a lot of fast breaks, is out of the game right now. And they're turning to Claire Williams, who's been very good, 5 points, but doesn't quite have the speed and I guess the finesse that Jones did when she was leading the offense. So this is a time for Gretna to really press the advantage and make sure that the momentum stays on their side.
They keep the full court press going. Central is able to exit the backcourt with Ania Webb. She loses the ball. Oh,
that's
a jump
a
ball
horrible
call. Oh,
that's
boy.
a horrible call. What in the world?
They call a jump ball. It's going to stay with Central.
That's
wow.
a ridiculous call.
I mean, that was tied up for about half a second. That's it.
I mean,
so
you've got one player going down, the other player going the other way
yeah.
on a fast break, and you blow the whistle?
That's interesting.
Oh, man.
Takes 2 points away
Whoa.
from Gretna and nearly gives 3 to Central. They're able to get the offensive rebound off the missed 3 by Webb. Now Ania Wayne up at the top. Tight defense from Allison Marshall, able to get it over to Claire Williams. Up top, taken away there as the pass was out of the reach.
And Gretna's defense has really stepped it up this half. They're making it a lot harder for Central's guards to do whatever they want like they were in the first half.
Huntwork's three-pointer misses and wide open going the other way. Layup is good from Ania Wayne. She's got 7 points and she's got Central back up by 20.
Gretna's got to keep pushing the pace a little bit. That's not really their game. They prefer the defensive battles. But at this point, if you're down 20 in the third quarter, it's kind of the only choice you have left.
4:15 to go in the third. Huntwork, another 3, no good off the front iron. Central takes the rebound. Huntwork has definitely cooled off ever since that 11-point first quarter.
But you got to keep taking open threes, and that's one thing I like about Huntwork. Even though she's not making her shots necessarily.
I'll tell you who's making their shots.
Yeah.
Ania Wayne for 3. She's up to 10, and it's 49-26, the largest lead of the afternoon for Central.
Second player in double digits for Central already, and will likely get to maybe 3 or 4 before the game ends with the way their offense is playing. But in my opinion, the rest of Gretna should follow Huntwork's example, not necessarily in missing their shots, but in taking the open threes, because Huntwork is one of the few players that are for Gretna, and right now that's leading to an offensive stagnation. So they've got to get the open shots like that layup.
Yeah, nice physicality there. Sydney Reimer using the size advantage to get the shot. 49-28.
She's got 6.
And now a travel is called against, look like Ania Webb going back the other way, and Gretna will take over with 3:19 to go.
And Ania Jones is coming back in.
Yep.
So now if you're Gretna, the key is really stop Ania Jones. She's probably the best player, the best offensive player that Central has on the floor right now. Maybe Nia Paul if you prefer post offense. But the key is shutting down Jones and scoring on the offensive end. They could still get themselves back into this game if they do that and they do it quickly.
Gretna about ready to bring a load of substitutions into the game as there's 3 minutes left. Allison Marshall with it, guarded by Ania Jones, throws it out of bounds. Was it touched by Central? It was.
Some good defense by Ania Jones. 3 fouls, still playing very aggressively, able to tip the ball out of bounds. And that could be dangerous for Gretna because Jones clearly doesn't care if she fouls out as long as she does her job on defense. And her job on defense is throw a monkey wrench into Gretna's system, which she's done all game long.
Here's a
Oh,
three-pointer.
that was blocked.
Yeah, it was deflected. Huntwork's going to get it back for another one. It gets blocked again.
Wow.
How about that? That was Nia Paul. Has a chance to score now. Has to throw it back as it was about to go out of bounds. And there's Ania Jones making another play to keep it alive. Gets it to Nia Paul with 2:40 to go in the third. Now over to Claire Williams. And
this is where Central could really finish the game off with a nice score there.
Yep.
Great defensive possession. almost turned it over, but then Powell threw it back in, and there it is.
Yep, Nia Paul gets the basket to go. She has 4 points, 2:20 to go.
Only way for that possession to finish, because she got 2 blocks on the defensive end. Might as well score.
Yeah, 51-28 Central. Having a monster offensive day. This is Simone Parrott for Gretna. Back to Avery Coleman. Now Huntwork inside, looking for some space, and getting the shot to go is Aiden Pullman. 4 points for her, 1:56 to go in the third. And now quickly ahead the other way. Central getting a move on. Here is Niawar Paul. Bringing it in. Tough shot. Might have been blocked. And there is a scrum for the basketball. Jump ball. And Gretna's going to take over.
Gretna. And Gretna's still doing a good job at getting their offense working. Since halftime, it's been basically even for these two teams. The issue is how uneven it was before halftime. And for Gretna, it might just be too little too late. There's only about 9.5 minutes to go in this game. And unless a miracle happens, they're probably not making up that 21-point deficit.
Minute and a half to play in the third. Gretna with the ball. Here's Parent. Guarded by Powell.
They've got
and
some moving screen.
Yeah, moving screen there. That's against 21, Aiden Pullman, and Central will take over. Unforced errors for Gretna.
That is a possession that Gretna needed to score on, because both of the bigs for Central were well outside of the paint, and they couldn't get even a drive into the paint because of the illegal screen. You got to make those possessions count.
So here comes Central with Ania Jones taking it up against Grace Huntwork, the 2 stars of the show today for both sides. Jones kicks it out, back to Ania Webb. High arcing pass, and not even the height of Nia Paul could get that one as it goes out of bounds, and Gretna will take over.
Looked like a bit of a miscommunication there. Lob pass, maybe thinking that Powell was going to get it, but instead it's a turnover. And the press continuing for Central, still trying to press that advantage that they've had basically all game.
Here comes Gretna under a minute to play in the third quarter. Jenna Marshall inside, looking for the shot, and getting fouled. Oh, watch out there. Ania Jones went down hard as falling on top of her was Avery Coleman. Fortunately, looks like everybody is doing all right down there.
That's 4 on Jones. Another really solid defensive play, but it results in a foul, and she's got to be really careful now.
Yep. So here come 2 free throws for Coleman. First one is good. Makes it a 20-point game. It's her first point of the afternoon as well. 51-31. Just to make it a 19-point game. It is good. So Coleman goes 2 for 2 from the line. Late stages of the third quarter, 45 seconds remain.
And the press by the press by Gretna, not really that much of a press as much as it is a forcing Central to go one way or the other. And it's worked somewhat well so far, but they can't really afford to just force Central one way or the other right now. What they need to force is turnovers, and quickly, considering there's about 8.5 minutes left to go in this ball game. And they've got to force those turnovers and get points.
Under 20 to play in the third quarter. Aiden Pullman trying to get in on Ania Webb. Pullman backs out again. Great defense from Webb. And finally she is called for the foul. On the floor, 12.2 to go. 4 fouls for Central. And that will bring Ania Wayne into the game, checking in for Ania Webb.
And if you're Gretna, at this point, you can't really hold for the perfect shot. It seems like that's what their offense has been doing for a lot of the second and third quarters, is they've been trying to make sure that they get the perfect shot. You're not going to get a perfect shot against a team like Central. What you might get is a good shot. If you get a good shot, you just have to take it, and they haven't been. That's one of the big reasons that they're down 19.
Jump ball. Possession will go to Central with 5.2 to go, so a chance to beat the buzzer with something here.
Got to figure this goes to Ania Jones. But only 5 seconds left. You got to hurry.
It will be in the hands of Jones. Here she comes. Able to get past a couple. Great work from Jones. Stops up for 3. No good. And that will take us to the end of quarter number 3, with Central still holding a healthy lead at 51-32. So Millard South awaiting the winner of this one. You see the two
That,
teams in the next
that
game.
quarter,
Go ahead.
really just a master class, in my opinion, by Central at controlling the pace once you have a big lead. They were up 40-21. The deficit, I believe, is still the same. Both teams scored 11 points in that quarter, and that is Central basically saying, you know what, we've got a big lead. We're just going to control the pace. We'll play Gretna's game because Gretna's game is not going to give Gretna the win here. And they've done it extremely well. Anaya Wayne played very well, 5 points in the quarter. Ania Jones had 4. Just an all-around really great defensive and a really good offensive quarter from Central.
The height and the quickness of Central is killing Gretna with the blocks, the drives in the lane. It's been all Central. Gretna's going to have to really, really make something happen in a hurry. Their chances getting slimmer and slimmer as Millard South awaiting the winner of this one in the championship game, and Omaha Central, if they can hold their lead, will be playing against them in the number 1 versus number 2 matchup on Saturday nights. Gretna will start with the basketball here in the fourth quarter, as it's Jenna Marshall over to Sydney Zabudil.
And again, as I mentioned near the end of the third quarter, you've just got to take the good shots. There probably won't be a lot considering the length and height of this Central team, but if there are good shots, you take them, like that. You got to take that shot.
Yeah, Allison Marshall decides not to. Instead, she kicks it out to Reimer, who can't get the shot to go, but wrestling it away and getting blocked illegally there. It was Jenna Marshall who got the basketball. Couldn't get the shot to go because of the block, but they get the foul called against number 25, Nayanar Paul.
And the offensive rebounding has been pretty good for Gretna. The issue is that normally an offensive rebound involves the player being close to the hoop. And if you're close to the hoop against this Central team, more likely than not, you're probably going to get blocked.
Second free throw rims out, but another offensive rebound for Gretna and another block from Central.
I told you.
Goes out of bounds. Gretna will keep possession. Gretna's done a nice job getting offensive rebounds today, but it hasn't mattered because Central neutralizes them with blocks.
I mean, I just said that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Especially with players like Nayanar Paul, Ita Lupo. They've just done a really good job at making Gretna take either bad shots or take either good shots that get blocked in the post.
There's Jenna Marshall over to Emma Schweigert. 7:11 to go in the fourth quarter.
Gretna seems pretty content to take their time right now considering the deficit. A little surprised they're not pushing for a quicker shot.
Yeah. Jenna Marshall gets it into Reimer. Sydney Reimer kicks it back out. Zaboodle to
good
Allison
pass.
Marshall now inside, and Schweigert is going to travel. They don't call a foul, they call a travel instead, and that will give the basketball back to Central. So long, empty possessions have been a theme for Gretna today, and they've definitely got to fix that if they want to make some inroads on this deficit.
Well, for Central, it probably really helps if you've got 3 players standing 5'10" or taller. I'd imagine that would explain Gretna's post woes a bit.
Yep.
But it just seems like another great move by Anaya Jones. Like, that sequence of plays is kind of exemplary of the whole game. It just seems like Central wants to score more than Gretna does.
And Ania Jones has been scoring up to 15 points now in the afternoon, leading all players here in this one. Here's Emma Schweigert, gets it back to Sydney Zabudil. Back to Schweigert, inside, Sydney Reimer. Tried to kick it out, does so. The three-point shot off the mark from Jenna Marshall. Central's got the rebound, and they're able to get out of the backcourt. Here they come. Bit of a fast break. They are going to slow it down, though. Now inside, Nayanar Paul gets it to go. 6 points for Paul, and it's a 22-point Central lead.
And another great press break run by Central. A lot of their players can handle the ball really well, so all they have to do is just find an open player, and all of a sudden they're breaking again, and there's another 2 points on the scoreboard.
Another travel called against Gretna. Unforced errors mounting. 5:37 to go, time running out here in the fourth quarter, and Dragons going to bring another load of substitutes into the game here. That's Cogswell, Sydney Woods, Huntworth, and Parent all coming into the game.
You got to admire the game Nia Jones has been playing because she's had 4 fouls since about the midway mark of the third quarter. But she's not playing timid. She's driving to the hoop. She's playing hard defense. That's stuff that could easily get you a 5th foul in any basketball game, but she doesn't seem to care. She's just trying her best to win this game.
There's another travel. A lot of travels being called here in this fourth quarter, and Gretna's going to take over as there's a missed three-pointer, a nice save, but all for naught.
And in games like this, there can certainly be a lack of discipline on both sides, although for different reasons. For Central, if there's a lack of discipline, it's probably because they're getting complacent, whereas for Gretna, if there's a lack of discipline, it's probably because of frustration.
Inside, tough shot. Unable to get it to go with Sydney Woods.
There's an example of frustration right there. Nyanwar Paul makes another great defensive play, contesting the layup, no good, and then got the rebound.
Nia Jones gets it ahead to Claire Williams. Back to Jones. 4:48 to go in the final quarter. Claire Williams had an open look, didn't take it. Back to Nia Jones. They play catch. Now over to the far side. Now Nia Jones again. Claire Williams is open on the inside. Look at that pass in. And look at that finish.
And just like in the third quarter, Central is beating Gretna at Gretna's own game. They're just taking their time, waiting for the open man. And lo and behold, there's an open man right in the post. Another 2 points for the Central Eagles.
Simone Parent gets it back to Hunwork. Now over to the far side. Sydney Woods. Parent again at the top. 4:08 to go in the fourth quarter. Parent looking to get around. Does so. Runs into traffic and is fouled. So she will go to the line to shoot 2. 4:02 to play.
Looks like that one's on Dominique Mack. That's her first. And Parent does a good job at getting in to the lane, but what I've been really impressed with just watching Gretna's offense is how good a job Nyanwar Paul is doing on defense. Because she's basically ensuring by, whether it's fronting or backing or whatever she's doing, she's ensuring that whoever the Gretna big is, in this case it's number 30, Avery Coleman, is not going to get the ball without a fight. And there have been a lot of fights for the ball this afternoon, and Central's won basically all of them.
Parent makes both free throws. 4 minutes to go. 57-35 lead for Omaha Central. Central does have 6 fouls in this half. Only 1 for Gretna. Surprise, only have 1 foul in the half, even though you're down by 22, but that's just been the case. The issue has been the offensive side of things. Nyanwar Paul close to stepping out of bounds, and she did step out of bounds. So Gretna will take over with 3:41 to go.
And a good play there by Avery Coleman to get position on Paul and force either the turnover or what would probably end up being a charge. Good play by her. Now Gretna's got to respond with points.
3.5 to play. Pass to the inside. Nearly knocked away. Eventually retrieved. There's a block, but a foul. Foul is called. It was drawn by Avery Coleman.
That's on Paul. That's her third.
Yep.
And that's the difficulty in blocking shots from behind. I mentioned it, and I think it was the first quarter, that bringing the arm down when blocking a shot is normally going to result in a foul call. And that's what it did there, especially because Paul was behind the shooter.
Coleman hits her first free throw. She has 3 points. Now this one to make it a 20-point game. Up and good. These two teams have been good at their free throws today. No doubt about it, especially Gretna late, but that's about all they've been able to produce offensively.
And Central, on the other end, is just content to take their time and wait for the open shots, which, again, they're getting a lot of. It's just pass the ball around and wait.
Open look. Three-pointer is off the mark, but the offensive rebound is pulled in and not put back. Out of bounds. Central will keep it. We saw a lot of three-pointers in that first quarter, but I don't know if we've seen any of them since. It's been quiet from beyond the arc.
People talk a lot about stat advancements, but I hope eventually we get to the point where you can give credit to someone for tipping an offensive rebound resulting in points, because if that was the case, I think Nyanwar Paul would lead the Metro in that statistic. She's just been incredible at not only drawing attention on potential offensive rebounds, but then tipping the ball to her teammates, resulting in baskets.
Dominique Mack got the basket for Central. Now here's Gretna. Sydney Woods over to Kate Cogswell. She'll drive in. Unable to get it to go. And now here comes Ania Jones back the other way in a hurry to get to the basket. And it's good. Ania Jones, 17 points, have a day.
4 points in every quarter.
Yep, it's just consistent, balanced. She's been fantastic.
Mhm.
No other way to put it. 2:15 to go in the fourth quarter as that's out of bounds.
And the effort by Central continuing. That's Claire Williams. She started this game, scored 5 points. It's 61-37, and she's still going for steals with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And that right there is really a microcosm of why Gretna won this game. They go for the loose ball no matter what.
2:13 to go in the fourth quarter. 24-point lead for the Eagles. Gretna with the ball. They'll inbound here. It's Aiden Pullman. Central has 7 fouls. Gretna is in the bonus, but too little too late for the Dragons. As it'll be Faith Mills now getting it over to Jaden Smith. Now inside, here's Pullman trying to get it to go, doesn't get the roll. Rebound is pulled in by Central. Here they come the other way. Looking for some space. Paris Devers is double teamed, and they get a timeout. Timeout called by Omaha Central from the bench. 1:46 to go in the fourth quarter.
And this is exactly what Omaha Central wanted to see, because going up against that Millard South team is going to be a very tough test for them. They're undefeated, so obviously this Gretna game might have been their toughest game of the year before this, but that Millard South game is certainly looking like it's going to be a challenge. But with the great play from basically all the starters, especially Ania Jones, there's just doesn't seem to be anything that Gretna could do to stop her. That bodes well for Central's chances this Saturday.
Yeah, well, if you were with us for the first game back at 10 a.m. between Millard South and Omaha West Side, you saw the press defense on full display. Millard South was forcing turnover after turnover, and that's what I can't wait to see. This Omaha Central offense, which is so good and can score so much against that lockdown, shutdown defense of Millard South. That's going to be something to see.
I mean, my guess is we're going to get a shootout because both teams seem to have pretty similar philosophies involving if we press and we get steals on our offensive end, that's easy buckets. So my guess is we're going to have a shootout, and I can't wait for that.
Aiden Pullman got a basket for Gretna, and it looks like we're going to have a jump ball here. Possession will stick with Omaha Central here with 1:21 to go in the fourth.
I mean, you look at the Millard South stat line. They put up 56 points despite basically sitting down on offense in the fourth quarter. I mean, Central's already got 61. I think there's going to be a lot of fireworks on Saturday.
Layup no good from Aiden Pullman. It's going to trickle out of bounds. Possession will stay with Gretna. Two teams in our next game, the first boys semifinal, Millard North and Omaha Central, are around the corners of the court.
Do not go anywhere.
Yeah, they're getting ready to take the floor, and that's going to be quite the show. Both the boys semifinals games are going to be excellent, and we'll have them both for you at 1:30 and 3:15. 1:08 to go here in the fourth quarter. Omaha Central looking to put a wrap on this one and move on to the championship, as looks like we might have an injured player over there.
Yeah, sitting down on the stands. Can't tell who that is, but hope she's okay.
Yeah, it's a Gretna player, and it looks like it might be Pullman. No, it's not Pullman. Okay, it's Sydney Woods, the junior. It's like a leg injury. And hopefully she will be okay. You hate to see that in a blowout game like this.
Especially because with basically no time on the clock and such a big deficit, it's not like that play really mattered, but you just have to hope she's okay.
3-point shot blocked. Gretna able to keep it, though. Aiden Pullman will move in.
And the block party just continues.
No kidding.
Holy cow.
Yep. 59.7 to go. Gretna will keep it after the block went out of bounds.
I mean, the fact that there have been, I think, by my count, 3 3-pointers blocked by Central just shows you how good they are at defending.
Yeah, they've been around the block today. As there's a travel called against Central.
Like, you want to come in for a layup? Oh, have a block. You want to shoot a 3? Oh, have a block. You want to try a floater? Oh, guess what it is? It's a block.
45 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Gretna looking for one last basket or two here. As this is Kate Cogswell back to Aiden Pullman. Pullman over to now inside and
Another block.
Another block, and here comes Central the other way. Paris Devers out in front, caught up to.
Great move.
Basket no good, and Gretna pulls down the rebound. That's Faith Mills, and she gets it over to Aiden Pullman. Just 12 seconds left. We'll see if they try and go for another shot. Looks like they will. Faith Mills here.
Waiting for somebody to get open.
Yeah, inside.
But a great performance
Yeah, one more shot, no good.
by
and
Central High School.
that'll do it, and the table is set for the championship game on Saturday night. Number 1 Millard South and number 2 Omaha Central, two teams that put on a show today. It's going to be quite the game on Saturday night, but we got quite the game coming up next. Stay right here. Number 1 Millard North, top team in Class A, taking on the 4th-seeded Omaha Central Eagles in the first boys semifinal. As this day of basketball rolls on, 6.5 hours. Stay right here on the Creighton Prep Sports Network.